Alright, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Garrison here from 725 Outdoors, and today I wanted to come on here and bring you another Tech Tuesday. And today's Tech Tuesday, we'll be talking about paper tuning and sighting in our bow and how I do it. I'm actually going to be setting up my 3-pin, or attempting to set up my 3-pin within this video as well. But what I like to do, if you have a sight that has a sight tape, here I'm going to try to give you guys my way of doing it. It's the easiest for me, and I hope that it works for you as well. And then we will probably, once we get a sight tape to the next Tuesday's video, we'll probably be talking about walkback tuning and torque tuning. So I do not have a knocking point tied into my bow right now, but I will kind of give you a little rundown on how I do that. All I do is take my serving and then I just run it through, and I tie like the first step of tying a shoe. You just tie it in there, pull it all the way against the bottom of the D-loop. I am a one knocking point person. Some people prefers two. I just like one. And then I do about 2 to 3 half hitches up the string, and then it all depends. I'll tie 2 in and I'll stop and I'll take my arrow and I'll check my slack and I'll check my wiggle a little bit, see what about that we have, and I will pretty much go from there. If it's got a serving size and a half, if it's got more wiggle than that, usually that's pretty good, but sometimes you can get away with tying a third half hitch in there, and that will pretty much secure it down without getting any knock pinch. I've always done that, and I've never had no problem with knock pinch. And we're about to see it right here in the paper, because we've got our paper tuner behind us. It's a little bit of a redneck version, but it will work. It's already been pre-shot with my tournament arrows, and I just wanted to come on here and make this video for you guys today. And here's a quick little disclaimer: I will be probably adding weights in throughout this video on this bow, just for more stability and help sighting in with this bow, because just to be honest with you, 1 ounce and 3 ounce is not really too stable on my stabilizer, so I do want to make it as best as possible. So I'm going to go tie my knocking point in, and I will be right back. Okay, so we're back out here now. We have our knocking point tied in. I did put a little dab of super glue on that as well, so getting a little bit of travel right there. Now I will say that this arrow more than likely will shoot knock high, because my rest is pretty far low, but we're going to shoot it just to show a little demonstration. All right, so we are a few feet from it now. One draw back, anchored. Okay. No clue where that went, but it went fletching deep, I know that. Shot straight into the target, went through almost. So we're going to try this again. Okay, so we actually got a tail, I guess it would be tail right paper tear right then. A little odd, maybe just a little bit of torque, not necessarily sure yet, but we're just going to keep hammering. All right, so we're still getting a little bit tail right, so what that is telling me, that my point is shooting, so I actually need to move my rest over now some bit. So okay, so we're still tail right, just a little bit more. I'll move it all the way over to this 2. So it still looks like I'm just a tad bit tail to the right. Make sure I'm not moving it the wrong way. It's moving your limbs. So I am shooting tail right. So let me see where I need to go. I'm having a right tear, so I need to move my arrow rest to the right, which I have been doing. So therefore, I'm realizing, okay, it's not going over enough, and plus if I go over too much more, it will be touching the cable guard. So what do I need to do? I need to go to my left side. I think this is right now, folks. On these Obsession Ultra Mags, this is one of the fun features that it has, and you know, Matthews has got their limb shift and stuff, so I need to go over and get a Allen wrench that will fit this, and I'm going to just add some twist into it. I'm pretty sure clockwise pushes it the opposite way. Like if I'm clockwise on this left side, I'm pushing it towards the right. So I'm going to hold it like this. We'll put it in there. I'm going to turn it about like this. Now, I could be very wrong. I've been wrong before. But I'm going to do the same thing on this bottom side. Pretty much did about a half, about 3/4 of a turn. You want to do the same in both limbs. So, this one's having a really hard time going in there. But, I'm going to take it, I'm going to move it about right there. Now, I can obviously see it push the cams to the right. We're going to shoot it again, and we're going to see how much this moved it actually. Right now, looks like we might be a little bit too much to the left now. Looks like we might have to go back over. Let me knock this arrow in and see what we're looking at here. Looks pretty straight on to me, but I could tell we would definitely need to raise our rest as well. So, I'm gonna raise our rest up now. Okay, so I moved it up a little bit, and listen folks, a up and down, I mean, it ain't gotta be perfect, but on the up and down portion, I don't think I've had tournament bows shoot phenomenal with the high tear. It just depends. Right, that one was terrible. It was a terrible tear. So now we're going to do it again. So I'm wanting to say that that knock was loose. I had some serious effects on it. So, a little bit tail opposite now. So I'm going to come back on here in just a minute or two whenever I figure some more of this out. All right, so now we have got just a little bit high paper tear, but the thing is, what a lot of people don't understand is that paper tear is not the final product. So now we're going to try to get us a little 20-yard mark. Try to get close to 20 yards. That way we can start working on our sight. All right, so we've got our sight up and down at 20 pretty close. Going to do a little bit more fine tuning here in just a minute. Got to move my left and right adjustment completely. So I like to start off with setting my, moving my whole sight bar for getting my 20 yard. So I'm shooting to the left. I need to push it out. Okay. Okay. So that is over a little bit more. Now we're going to shoot it again. Wrong arrow. Arrow has got a knot coming out of it, so we're going to figure out how to fix that. Okay, I'm going to take a lot of movement, but we're going to continue to finish this more closer to 20 yards. I was actually only standing around 5. I'd say about 8 to 10 yards is where I was standing. All right, so I have actually got my up and down pretty well, pretty much in line with 20 yards. So the next step that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a picture of where my 20 yards is, and I'm just kind of going to go from there. I'm going to do my 20, then I don't know if I'll do my 30. I probably will, considering that I'm wanting to have my pin permanently set at 30. That way that I could have like a 35. I might do 35. That way I can do my pins at 25, 35, and 45 for a 3-pin. That's kind of what I'm wanting to do here. So I'm actually going to go back to 35, and that's probably where I'll start my sight tape. But actually what I'll do is just go ahead and take a picture of this. Got a picture of it now. So what I like to do when I'm sighting in my bow is I like to kind of hop yardages. So like if I'm going to try to set my sight stationary at 35, that way I have a 25, 35, 45 for shooting, for hunting, then I'm actually going to try to get my 35 pin, 35 yard mark figured out. So we're going to go back, get our arrows, then we're going to go on back to 35 yards and just kind of go from there. Okay, so one of the problems that I've ran into is I'm actually almost moved down too far on my sight. So now I'm going to have to move it a little bit more down, that way I can get more yardage. So now it means my first axis will be off. Great. So now we got to restart the process of our first axis leveling again. So that's very fun. Let's just go ahead and shoot one more just for the heck of it, because you know what, why not? Why not just shoot it again? Don't know where my sight was going to be, but we're going to say it's right there. See if my left and right. Left and right's pretty deadly. All right. Now, we'll have to go back to ground zero and move this sight up more. So, let's redo that. Okay, so, just shot 35 yards, got my 35 mark. Now, we're going to go to 45 yards, and we're going to get that mark as well, but we're not going to write it down. We're just going to get pretty close, close enough to where I feel comfortable, and then we're just going to keep on going. We're going to try to stretch our max out all the way back to about 80 yards. So you'll see how far we are down here. We're going to range this. This bow is shooting about 318 feet per second, so I really don't think that it was going to be too big of a deal, me going from a 30 to a, or 35 to a 50. All right, so first shot was pretty dead on. So this is kind of the system that I go by. So to pretty much sum up what I am doing to make the quickest progress on sighting in, I know it's super dark, but I'm jumping from, like I said, from 35 to 50. I roll my sight down. I've got a big target down there that too much low, it will shoot high and hit the target, or if I do it too high and it shoots low, then it will still hit the target as well. So I'm gonna go from 50 to 60, and then we're gonna keep on going back as far as we can. 64 yards, moving my sight about right there. Looks like that will be pretty good. Now, just gonna draw back and aim at the big target and go from there. Make a good shot. All right, that was very, very low, so the gap has definitely started expanding now. All right, I can tell that that was closer. All right, so that hit. Now, next step, we're gonna go on back. We're gonna try to get about 75. We're gonna make a big sight move here. We'll see how far I can clear. And I'm almost maxed out right here. Okay. So we're gonna do 73. Will be my last that I can get at my house. Now, I will go somewhere to where I can shoot 100 yards, further than that eventually, but closer to deer season. Just not right now. Got too much tournament stuff to work on. Actually got to work on my tournament bow as soon as this is done. I'll make a big sight movement. I'm gonna say about right there. That actually may be too much, so we're gonna go up a little bit more. And just make a good, smooth shot. All right, that was not a terrible shot. Oh man, it actually might be dead on. If I got that first try, that's gonna be pretty crazy. All right, so gonna shoot at a different target, see where about I'm hitting on with this sight. Left and right seem to be phenomenal. I already got a little bit of tears in my fletchings from the groups that were already shooting, which is super, super tight. Gonna shoot one more round, and then we'll see what we got there. Okay everybody, so one thing that I wanted to say real fast before the video ends, once you go out as far back as you can, what I highly recommend you doing is you just taking your sight tapes. What I would recommend doing is getting a dial caliber and measuring the distance between your 20 and however far you went back. The farther back you go, probably the better off on how easier it will be to find sight tapes. If you do like a 20 and 60, you're gonna have a little bit of a time, but I would recommend going as far back as you can. Like I was at 72 yards right then. Bow's shooting phenomenal. The Obsession is shooting great. But like I said, guys, just go get your sight tapes out and line up your 20 and however far back you went. If you went to 70 yards, line up your 20 and 70. Find that one that matches. But using a dial caliber makes your life and everybody else's life a whole lot easier too. It saves you a whole lot less stress. and then put that sight tape on there, and then run through the yardages with your slider and shoot and just test and see if the yardages seem to be pretty good. And then if they seem to be good with you, then they're good with me. But this is not the end of the series here. Like I said, folks, in the last video, also, if y'all have not checked out the first video and you're looking to set up a bow and just learning kind of how I do things, archery community is a very open community. We learn from each other here. If you guys want to go check out how I set up my bows, how I start my bows off, go check out the last video. But if you guys want to save 20% off on Mountain Ops products, click our link down in the description below. Helps us out a ton, saves you some money as well. If you want to go save some more money, check out our link in the description for ramrods, stabilizers, and go get you some great high quality stabilizers. They offer a variety of budget options, and it also helps us out a ton when you use our link and save some money for yourself as well. But besides of that, go click on nosedowndeersense.com. Go check their products out, get stocked up before deer season hits, and use it before deer season even starts. Their products is great early season products as well. And also go check out QAD.com, and I will see you folks in part 3 of this series.